I told you guys that at 500 subscribers, we would do a 24-hour DoorDash challenge, and well, the time has come. Thank you guys so much for pushing us all the way to 500 subscribers. It means the world to me, and I can tell you right now that at 1,000 subscribers, we're gonna do another 24-hour challenge. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you aren't already. And with that, let's dive straight into this thing. If we were gonna successfully drive for 24 hours, I knew we'd need the 4 F's. The first of that is food. You can't do anything for 24 hours without eating. That seems obvious. The second one was fuel. Yeah, a lot of fuel. The third F was a filled up tank, and of course I would have this planned out where I would be doing this 24-hour challenge when gases were at historical all-time highs. That is just my luck, but that's okay because the fourth F is what matters most, and that was having a friend. All right, guys, well, we are here. The time has come, unfortunately. Incredibly appreciative to Caleb for coming along, and we're gonna turn this thing on and find out how much money we can make in 24 hours. You got a guess?
I'm gonna guess $6.50 an hour.
$6.50 an hour?
Yeah.
Over 24 hours, that's very possible because it's probably going to be a little bit rough, especially during the night. We're starting at noon, we're ending at noon, and the only thing left to do is turn this thing on. Ready?
Let's go.
Let's do this thing. We got off to an incredibly hot start. The map said that things were very busy, and it wasn't lying. Within seconds, we had gotten a $5 order and then got that stacked with a $6 order. Both of these going to McAllister's. I ran into that place. One of the orders was ready, but the other was not. Regardless, after we got both orders, it was a quick drive, and I climbed the corporate tower to make a speedy delivery. Followed that up with another stacked order, this time to different restaurants. Chipotle up first, easy pickup. Shake Shack next, had to run quite a ways for this one, but once I had the bag, it was another simple drop off. That completed our first hour and our first $20. From there, we went to Subway. Once again, not a large order, but not a long order either. I think it was about 10 minutes from the time I got it to the time I set this sandwich at the door, and then followed that up with a very large order to the Cheesecake Factory. Small aside, I love the Cheesecake Factory, and I loved it even more today because it not only gave me my biggest tip of the day, but also tied my biggest tip of all time. All right, Caleb, with that dropped off, we've now made $44 through less than 2 hours, $22 an hour plus pace. How are you feeling about that $6.50 an hour guess of yours?
I stand by. I guess we'll see.
You're sticking with it?
Yep. I guess we'll see what happens.
Okay, it's time to, hopefully these next few hours go well and we can prove Caleb wrong, but we will see. Determined to make sure that Caleb's guess did not end up being correct, we accepted a number of speedy smaller orders, one to a create your own salad bar, another one to crumble cookies. Man, I love these things. And then a 2-minute delivery to Chick-fil-A. Papa John's was up next, and I let Caleb do his first pickup. There he goes. That's my boy. And we only hit a small roadblock. Move. Move! Thank you! We spent the rest of the afternoon again doing various orders of various amounts. If I showed you every single one of these, the video would be an hour long. Trust me, it was a grueling process, but we made some pretty good money along the way. All right, we have officially hit the 6-hour mark, which means that we are 25% of the way there, which is very exciting. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but we actually brought a little whiteboard with us to kind of track our progress. So, Caleb, if you want to go ahead and explain what the people are seeing here.
Yeah, so if we look at the analytics of our trip so far, we have 3 metrics we're tracking: gas, morale, and money. Right now, at 6 p.m., we're at $105, so roughly $25 per hour. Morale, still holding steady, pretty high. Gas, we're about half a tank right now. Yep. So we'll see how this progresses throughout our night.
Yeah, we expect that morale may dip just a hair as we get more and more tired. Things are starting to get a little bit monotonous. Money should obviously, hopefully increase. And then you can expect that gas to go pretty low at some point and then maybe make a jump if we have to fill up again. So that's what we're looking at. We have a lot more orders to do. We are getting into the busy time of day. So be on the lookout for a lot of money. This is where things kind of start to take a turn for the worse for a little bit. I accepted this Papa John's order, and when I got in there, they said it would be another 5 minutes, but it was a lot more than 5 more minutes. In fact, the workers actually started yelling at each other, and one of them stormed out of the building, so I kind of figured I might not be getting my food, and I ended up dropping the order after having wasted more than 25 minutes. Morale down. Money no more. But you can't let that get to you. You gotta smile and shake it off, especially when you get to go to an awesome place like Chick-fil-A. However, things were getting less and less awesome by the minute, because after I dropped this food off, the app actually crashed. Said that I was unable to start my dash, told me that it couldn't load any data, actually tried to tell me that I had made $0 so far, and even though it continued to send me orders, we went to Twitter and confirmed that yes, the app had crashed for literally everyone and there was no way to get back on. So with morale dropping faster and faster, we had a decision to make. Normally this is when I would give up, go home, and be sad, but this video isn't about giving up, it's about perseverance. So we decided we had to pivot. All right, with DoorDash down for the foreseeable future, I never thought it would come to this, but I think we're gonna switch over to Grubhub for a minute and see how that goes. It went, unsurprisingly, very well. We started off with this pretty large order. The restaurant didn't have the food ready right away, but the nice little girl in there gave me a candy. I have no idea what this says, but it was delicious, and it should be noted that we dropped this order off to an absolute mansion. The second Grubhub order was even better, to a place called the Corner Asian Cafe, and yes, the restaurant was on a corner. Pretty genius marketing there. The order that I got from this place was enormous. Seriously, the biggest order I've ever had. This was probably 10 pounds of Chinese food, which was just simply ridiculous. But once we dropped it off, the map was back up on DoorDash and we were good to go. We took a quick stop at the Golden Arches, then made a trip to Burger King and picked up food from this totally not concerning video board whatsoever. Yeah, okay. Anyways, we gave Papa John's a chance at redemption, and sure enough, this time they actually did deliver. I got the food right away and I felt like I'd probably gotten lucky. This next order I let Caleb pick up because for some reason I really didn't feel like going into the restaurant and he was incredibly excited, so I thought it would be a good chance for him to stretch his legs and get to see some sights. You're welcome, Olivia. And to close out the night, we got an order from a restaurant that literally had a curse word in the title. I'm not putting that on my YouTube video, but when I got there, it was a ghost kitchen just from a regular old pizza restaurant. And fortunately for me, the tip was substantial. Now, even though we had parked ourselves strategically so we were in between late night restaurants like McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Waffle House, we didn't get any orders for a long time. So we decided to camp out in the Walmart parking lot and see if we could get a little bit of rest. Okay, well, we have officially hit the 12-hour mark. We are actually past midnight at this point, which means we are more than 50% done, which is awesome. But what is not awesome is that we have not gotten a quality order in quite a while. It's actually been a hot minute since we got an order at all. So I think what we're probably gonna do is we are here at the Walmart, and I think we're gonna just leave the DoorDash on, turn it all the way up, and try to get some sleep. If we get an order that comes through, it'll wake us up, and we'll go and do it if it's worth it. But if not, we're gonna take this chance to rest up. I know you guys were concerned about the safety of this thing. We're gonna rest. We're gonna make sure that we are driving safely. But other than that, we will likely see you in the morning. So, good night. Good morning. It is an ugly, rainy morning. Caleb is not awake at the moment, but we only got one order over the course of the night, and it was not a good one at all, so we did not accept it. But it is now 5 a.m. I figured that the breakfast rush should start up at some point here soon. We didn't make any money overnight, so that's going to hurt our hourly rate. However, we're definitely going to make some money this morning to add to our total. So once Caleb gets up and it's a little bit brighter, we will update the board to show you guys what kind of progress we've made. But it really feels like we're on the home stretch here, and I am not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to being done with this thing. We strategically placed ourselves in between a Panera Bread and a Waffle House, seeing as those are two pretty common breakfast destinations, but we didn't get our first order from either of those. It was actually to a Sonic. So after a quick little drive, we had the food in hand. The rest of the morning was pretty uneventful, and to be honest, pretty slow. We got some good orders, but they were generally pretty infrequent, and even though we were making money, we weren't making money at an amazing pace by any means. So we decided to take the time to treat ourselves to a nice healthy breakfast of Chick-fil-A, and of course you can't forget alcohol. Just kidding on that one, but yes, somebody was ordering alcohol at 8:30 in the morning. An interesting decision, but hey, it's your life. I'm not gonna judge. After that, we were back to the sketchy Burger King to close out breakfast. Okay, well, we have a little bit of in-between time where we haven't had an order in a minute, so we took the time to make sure that we completed our graph up to this point, you can see we've made some changes. So let's start with gas. Obviously, we used gas and it went down, and then we used more gas and it went down more, and then we filled up, leading to a dramatic increase, and then overnight we hardly used any gas at all because we weren't getting any deliveries. So that's gas. Morale, obviously, you see by this dashed line right here. As we said, we started off pretty high, then we hit quite a few snags, dropped it down pretty low, but then as we got more orders, DoorDash came back, morale went back up, it was great, and then overnight it was pretty exhausting to sleep in the car, so I would say morale went back down, but is now on the upswing once again. And then the last thing, of course, the most important thing is money. So we started off, for the first 6 hours, we made $105. Then once again, as I mentioned, we had those problems, stayed a little stagnant, but then jumped up. And by 12 a.m. last night, we had made $210, so exactly double what we had made by 6 p.m. And then, obviously, over the next 6 hours, we made exactly $0. But we are once again rising, and it's looking like all three of these points may coincidentally intersect. I do not know what that means because this graph actually tells us absolutely nothing, but it is very interesting, and we will have to see how this ends up. And after what seemed like an absolute eternity, we were finally on the home stretch. Got this IHOP order that took entirely way too long to just make a stack of pancakes, then headed back to the place that our morning was supposed to begin, Panera, where a person had ordered nothing but a bunch of cookies. When I dropped this one off, I was actually already sitting next to the restaurant that I got my next order from, which is obviously a huge convenience, and then got an order back to that build your own salad shop that was 800 yards total. Funny enough, it actually ended up being in an active construction site. That's a totally safe thing to do, right? Walk around in an active construction site. Anyway, nothing could get me down at this point because we got a double salad order, and I'm telling you, being so close to the end of the journey had us unbelievably excited. Not only did we have these two salads, but we once again picked up another Panera order, and this time finished the day where the morning had begun. And to beat our noon time, I went running through this building to make sure I was in the car to see the end. I did it! With a minute to spare. Look at that. Let's go!
All right, and just like that, 24 hours has come and gone. I wish I could say it was the blink of an eye, but it was not. So you want to explain the how the graph ended up?
Yeah, so really, if we're looking at the last 3 hours, we were right. All three of our points we were tracking converged in one spot, the golden area, as we like to call it. And we ended up with a grand total of $310 approximately.
Yeah,
so
it's not backwards at all.
is it?
Yeah, it definitely is. $310.
310.
Let's go. And Caleb, overall, how would you rate this 24-hour DoorDash experience?
Probably 3 out of 10.
I would say that's probably generous. This has been absolutely brutal. But Caleb, thank you for coming on. Of course, we appreciate the help, and you were an integral part of making sure I did not die. So
Anytime.
Everybody give Caleb some love in the comments.
Now the plan at this point was to give you guys this really nice outro breaking down how much we made on DoorDash versus Grubhub and talking about how we made almost exactly double Caleb's guess of $6.50 an hour by making $13 an hour. But instead of doing any of that, the car decided to absolutely break down. The engine was completely shot, and apparently 24 hours was too much for it, so all we could do was make our way to the Waffle House parking lot and get the car towed. So after it was all said and done, we actually didn't end up $310 positive. We had to replace a number of parts in the engine, and I ended up losing $1,300 total on the day. I certainly envisioned that we'd actually make money on our 24-hour DoorDash challenge, but we absolutely did not. So please give the video some love. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.